and it's not supposed to be that serious. Sorry to break the video immersion for you, but buddy, it's a fucking cards video. No one in their sane mind would give a shit about this weapon. Anyways, cards is a weapon that exists in Supreme Dualistic, man. It has 3 main abilities which all have equal chances of happening, and even though they vary a lot, they still have very good synergy with each other, which was one of the reasons I picked up the weapon in the first place. As you already could have guessed, I am a self-proclaimed cards master. And you can listen to me when I say cards suck ass. They are very reliant on RNG, they have underwhelming damage output, and their abilities aren't even able to save you properly. There is pink, but you can always dodge the pink card, come on bro. Card's problem always was that, even if you get lucky, there is still a high chance you will lose. And in the end it just becomes this worse version of Arm Cannon or Scepter. We will be back to that in a second though. Let's actually get back to what I said before about the synergies and stuff. But instead of that, we will actually get back to abilities and then to synergies, because to understand the synergies you need to first understand the abilities. Your charged red ability is your main damage output. Unfortunately, the size of the red explosion doesn't affect its damage. And the only thing that it actually helps with is making it easier for you to hit the enemy in the first place. But in spite of its lackluster damage, it still has a very high knockback range. So at times you can just ignore charging up and throw the ability right at the enemy. Though even if you charge the red ability, it's still very easy to parry and or avoid. So your best bet at hitting the enemy would probably be using your green ability. As you can already guess, your green ability is your main stalling ability. You use it to synergize with your other cards, stalling beforehand and then hitting your red ability, obvious stuff. But other than that, you can also hit your enemy's projectiles and its melee hitbox, which kinda helps if your enemy is still far from hitting you, because green's knocking back ability is very underwhelming. It's another flaw being that it can only synergize with other abilities. If you get 3 green cards in a row, you will probably lose the matchup. There's a lot more to it, but I will cover that a bit later. Card's pink ability is without a doubt its best one, as it grants you the ability to swap places with the enemy, which is broken as fuck, and also it has a little bit of chip damage, which is hilariously so your best way of dealing damage. And you cannot block it like the green or the red, and you don't even have to charge it up. So basically what it does is it does the work of green card and the red card, but without like being the green card or the red card. So it's just better in every way, which is fucking crazy. Alright, we got on with the boring part. I explained you what the cards do, and I'm pretty sure you all already know, so let's just get to the juicy part. The synergies are a very rare occurrence in Supreme Dualistic, man. From the top of my mind, I can only think of like Lamp and the weapons that have their abilities interact with each other, and you can't just take away one ability because they all have an integral part in its main playstyle. Though it is completely optional, you don't have to combo anything. You can just aim with your purple for for one shots. Do whatever the fuck you want, actually. I don't really care. It's my video. I wanna cover synergies and how to be stylish and cool with the ability, so I'm just gonna cover that. Inertia is a very interesting topic. I think I covered it a lot in the forum, and what it says and what I basically tried to show you is that when you swap your place with the enemy saves its inertia, and it works vice versa. It's similar to hammer, where it sometimes helps you and sometimes it kind of messes you up. Usually you can use it to run away a lot better, but a lot of times you can find yourself stuck to the enemy without being able to run away just because it does not cancel your inertia, and instead it saves it.
Comboing different abilities with each other is a very interesting topic, since everyone seems to get it wrong. Hell, even I got it wrong back in the time of making this video. But do not fret, since even though, as I said, I didn't fully understand it even as making this video, I think I got as close as possible to understanding the full possibilities of comboing. It all starts with this graph, or chart? I don't know. It is a chart aiming to represent the possibilities, the full possibilities of comboing every ability with each other. Of course, not fully, as there are triple combos and even quadruple combos, which we will cover later.
But as for now, let's of course focus on the double combos instead, as I think it's the only type of combos that you will usually do in your games. So there are 9 main combos that you can do using the 3 abilities with each other. And you might ask me, Bunai, what the hell are you onto? What is the difference between red and green and—
I don't know. I thought I knew, because it's as simple as like the order of which you throw the cards at, right? You throw the green card up and then hit your pink and then the green lands. But what if you throw the green up and let it hit first and then use your purple ability to swap? It's a whole fucking different combo. And it doesn't even stop here. I'm gonna spoil you the fun of like examining this video on your own and like seeing things for the first time. I'm just gonna tell you, if you hit different parts of the body of the enemy, they interact the other way around. If you hit your red ability right at the torso, they will fly away way much than if you hit their head or something. And it works with purple and it works with green. And did I ever tell you about instant abilities? Or maybe throwing your ability up while you're in the air? Or maybe throwing the first ability right in the face of the enemy? What is going on?
And it doesn't even stop here, as the proximity to the enemy also counts for some fucking reason. The same example that I had previously with the green and the pink. If you're really far from the enemy, then the combo will work. And if you're right up close to the enemy, the combo will not work at all. There are so many little nuances, and I don't know if I can explain everything in this video. It's so complex.
And I'm pretty sure all this complexity just screams that cards are broken and all very interesting, but no. All the abilities are RNG, so you can't even pull a single combo off consistently. It's very stupid that a weapon like this is RNG based. But doesn't that mean that all you need to do to win with cards is just get lucky and hope for better cards? Red and red is a very basic combo that has a lot of variety and it does a lot of damage and a lot of knockback, so I would consider it one of the best combos. The green and purple combo is very hard to pull off and it doesn't really provide a lot aside from stalling the enemy a little bit. Also, it kinda sets up the triple combo, so it can be used for that. Red and purple is a very easy combo, it has tons of variety, it does very good knockback and a little bit of damage. Green and green is pretty hard to pull off, but it provides for some stalling. You can also hit the enemy's weapon. It's pretty useless. Purple and purple is a very good cheap damage, also stalling and aura points. Red and green is very easy to pull off, has a lot of damage, has a lot of variety, blah blah. Purple red is when you miss your purple and you can retract the enemy towards the purple with your red.
Purple green is like purple red but better. It sets up a lot of triple combos and it works better the further you are from the enemy.
Red and green is when you miss your green and you retract the enemy towards the green with your red.
I honestly never really thought about it this way, that there is so many potential to this weapon, to the point that I might not know all the combos that exist for this weapon at all.
But it's just the beauty of it, right? It's so interesting and you can learn more and more stuff just as you play. The longer you play, the more you know. I think that's the beauty of cards, right? By the way, speaking of people who didn't get it,
yeah, what? Chat Scepter, no arc used by SDS pros, top 5 alphas, longer hitbox, yes, green ability, 69 out of 10. Brother, fucking hell, what is this? Virgin cards, hated by the SDS online server, top 5 goobers, no blue ability, that's true by the way, barely used in tournaments, the arc. You're calling me the top 5 goobers? You're calling me a virgin? A virgin? Excuse me. And a fucking goober.
After all this yapping, it would only make sense if you ask me, like, Bunai, why the fuck would I watch this video if the best card stack that you taught me is to not play cards at all? And, I mean, it's fair, but if you stop watching right now, then you won't get to learn how to do this. And everyone wants to do that. Come on, don't tell me you don't want to. I really hope I got y'all hooked with that tech.
that was what I call fast green, and this tech goes way back to the time when I did the first combo videos.
Its downside is that you have to have your pink ability to perform it, and the timing can be pretty stiff. So how I used to do it is I threw one ability up and then jump right into it as I swap with the enemy. It's kind of easier to do that, but the jump time got nerfed, so it's kind of hard to do immediately, and it's not really as fast as the new fast ability, which is really cooler, way cooler. Breaking down the fast ability is way easier on paper, but it's hard to time properly. You need to have a perfect distance with your enemy, or you need to aim your pink up, and then just as the enemy is about to swap with you, you need to throw your card right at yourself from the bottom. It works perfectly when you throw it from the bottom. You don't really have to do that, as well as you don't have to do fast ability. You can do the old variation. Also, if you're not familiar with throwing your ability from below, you just aim down, and as your stickman is aiming down, you immediately throw up. And the card has like some time to move through your body, which we are working with. You swap with your enemy and it immediately activates as it hits the enemy, which is why it's called fast. Another downside of it is that you don't really know what's gonna happen, as if you don't have time to like see the card that you're throwing up into yourself, you don't really know what's gonna happen, right? But I mean, it doesn't really affect that much, as it all does the same thing. It does damage and it stalls, and it's not gonna hurt you too much. But throwing your cards from below and like keeping yourself grounded is actually a good thing when you're playing with cards, as there is another tech that works with it, and it's a lot cooler, and I already talked about it before. It is called Bunai Special. Very cocky name, I know. But come on, give me credit. I was the first guy that figured it out. At least on YouTube, it was the first guy that made a video on it, and I was really quick on it as well. I never really made videos this quick. I found it out, and then I thought like, oh man, I really need to do the all bugs video, and I mentioned Bunai Special there. For those who don't know, Bunai Special is a very cool tech that helps you stall the enemy into the floor and like maybe get some damage in and stuff, set up a triple combo or something. And for those people who know Bunai Special only from my video, I have a surprise for you guys. Bunai Special is officially fucking broken. You can do it consistently. I actually like took some time and tried to figure out how it works, and I think I figured it out. So remember how I said that if you hit the different parts of the enemy, they will interact the other way around? It's the same instance with pink. As I said, it's very deep and stuff. If you hit the enemy's head, then they will swap a little bit higher, and if you hit their legs, they will swap a little bit lower, which is why the Bunai special works. Add in the mandatory sniffing the ground, and all of a sudden it teleports them not into the platform, but below the platform, right to dying out of hazard. And I think it really elevates the power of cards, as it gives you another way of killing enemies. And I feel like there are some maps that make cards feel like an S-tier weapon. That's just, you just fight on a map with a single platform with hazards below it, and you can just swap your places with the enemy and throw them dying into water, and you don't even risk jumping into the water yourself. You just one-shot the enemy. But I don't really want to talk about meta in Super Bullet Stickman. It's kind of stupid, like thinking that, oh my god, cards are so broken because you can swap your places with the enemy and throw them dying. Well, duh. You can also just use air ability on dual sabers, or you don't even have to use an ability. You can just swap tech with it. You can just swap tech and do so much knockback that any fucking double reds, triple reds could ever dream of like achieving the amount of knockback. So I really don't want to talk about meta. So let's just move on to the next tech, to the next thing that makes cards look cool, but we all know deep down. Red ability is very straightforward. We all already know that it does a lot of knockback, it covers a lot of space, and it can charge up. But a lot of people sleep on its ability to reposition the enemy. I like using that fact in combos, like I previously showed you, the green and red combo and the purple and red combo. But of course there is more to it. I should have probably told you that earlier, but the main principle of playing cards is always knowing where your cards land after you throw them up. It's a pretty tough precision check, and if you can figure that out, then it's gonna be a lot easier for you to play cards. And it will also allow you to reposition the enemy with your red ability, just charging it up and throwing it behind the enemy, above the enemy, or in front of the enemy, and knocking him towards the relative position. Theoretically, you could also knock the enemy up by charging the red ability below the enemy, but there is no point in doing that, as there is a way easier way to do that.
English is just my language, bro.
I already showed you what happens when you throw the red ability in the enemy's head or body, but I haven't showed you what happens when you throw it into the legs of the enemy. And doing exactly that will allow you to knock the enemy up. It allows for some combo variations, and also if the enemy is above you, it is easier to use your melee against most weapons. Another thing it helps you a lot with is countering the impale attacks. Simply throwing the red card at the legs of the enemy wielding something like rapier, katana, or sword allows for you to completely negate the impale attack. Speaking of red abilities, other traits, it also does damage, and I speak of it as a secondary trait because it barely does any consistent damage. Sometimes it chunks off 20% of the health, but usually just does 5 to 10%. I'm not really sure why, and I'm not gonna vouch for my explanation, but I think what happens is the red ability just interacts with the melee hitbox of the enemy instead of the body. That's why it barely does any damage sometimes. And there are exactly two ways of bypassing the enemy's melee. One is theoretical and one actually works, and I already talked about it. The theoretical one is called reverse red. Instead of throwing it up and letting it charge, you jump up and chuck it below you to give it more speed and momentum, and it also charges up, and that allows for it to bypass the melee hitbox and right into the hardbox of the enemy. But it's only theoretical, and the more practical way of doing that is doing the fast red ability. But instead of doing what I previously showed you, you just allow for it to explode inside of the enemy. And look, I know that both of them don't do anything, but that's because the red ability just has a very low base damage. And you know what else has low base damage? It's pink. Yeah, let's just talk about pink. It just does everything. Everything what red and green ability can do, it does better. Wait, Bunai, didn't you just teach us that red ability can knock people up into the air? Can pink do that? Yes, it can. Yeah, apparently it can. And there are more ways than one to do that. First off, you can hit the enemy's head and they will teleport a little bit higher than they should. And the second way to do that is to hit their legs while they're on a solid platform with nothing below it. And on that occasion, they can get launched into the air.
And I repeat, they only can be launched into the air, because I don't really know how that works. That's a very, very odd strat. Sometimes it launches you up, sometimes it launches the enemy up, sometimes it just does nothing. You know, just like the rest of the kit, just like everything about Chill out, Bunai. Just chill. You're not gonna go on a fucking rant yet again.
Whatever. Pink ability. It doesn't have collision. It goes through many stuff. It takes everything that your enemy spawned when you swap with them. And it also doesn't work when you teleport with people vertically. Oh, you didn't know that? Whenever you use your pink ability and it just goes crazy and you don't know what's happening, just know that it happens because you're vertically placed relative to the enemy. Like if you're below them or above them, then it's just gonna go crazy. I have no idea. Oh, and yeah, speaking of that, top 5 pink ability hardest techs. Reavers, Bunai special, and hitting 2 pink cards simultaneously while the enemy is above you. That is fucking them up completely. By the way, there's only 2. I don't know why I said top 5. If cards only had red and pink without the green, would it be absolutely broken? Yes. If it just had 2 abilities, any abilities, would it still be broken? Yeah. But would you want that? Fuck no, bro. It's fun as fuck to use the 3 abilities together. Look, it's always like that. Whenever there is multiple people, there's always gonna be the worst of the pack. But never underestimate its worth, as everything in this world has value. All of that just to say that green doesn't really have a lot of text. And the only thing that it has is its elasticity. And that allows you to do everything within the limits of your own imagination. To wrap it all up, I'll just quickly go over everything again. And also, I will add some new information on all the abilities as well, but I'm not gonna cover the matchup specific text, because I think that's information for a whole ass new video. And it's already been 22 minutes and I really wanted to make an hour-long video, but no, I'm not him, guys. I'm not him. Collision. Red and green abilities have collision. They collide with other things, props and such. Sometimes they get destroyed. I don't really know how that works, but I think Neron Brother is coming down to fix all the collision bugs and stuff, and so all of this stuff could be changed next patch. So I'm not really gonna go over that. Just know that red and green don't go through most stuff. Hitting different parts of the body. Red, if you hit the head, the knockback will be very shitty. If you hit their body, they will knock back very far. If you hit their feet from below, then they will get knocked up. Then pink. Pink is if you hit their head, then the enemy will teleport a little bit higher. If you hit their body or hands... Oh wait, I forgot. If you hit enemy's weapon with the red ability, then it's just gonna get parried. Or if it's charged up, then it's gonna go beyond. If the charged up red hits the weapon, it will still go through and do damage. Okay, back to pink. If you hit the enemy's body, then the teleport will be normal. If you hit the enemy's hips like their thighs, then they will get knocked up. And if you hit their feet, then the Bunai special, yeah, all that kind of stuff. The green ability, if you hit their head, then they will not get knocked up. If you hit their body, then they will get knocked away really far, not really far, because it's gonna stick them to the place, because it's green. And if you hit their legs, then they will turn over, but it's like the same as head. The knockback is not really gonna be valuable. And hitting the weapon will result in you hitting the weapon. Oh, got it all. What's the time? We can't just end on a good note, can we? It breaks my heart knowing that all of this knowledge
this entire video is pointless.
Cards is an RNG weapon that has 3 main abilities, which all have an equal chance of happening, and they all have synergy with each other, which was one of the reasons I picked up the weapon in the first place. And it has low damage, and its liability is being an RNG weapon, which kinda makes it a worse arm cannon or scepter. And it pisses me off knowing that one red scepter ability can reach the amount of knockback that even the double or even triple red combo can even dream of achieving the amount of knockback. But cards have a lower cooldown, and the entire 20-minute long video was about it being complex and all the kind of combos that you can do, tech that you can do. Doesn't that kind of make cards broken? No! All the cards are RNG based, so you can't even pull a single combo consistently. That triple red combo I was talking about, it's a 3.7% chance that you will get 3 red cards in a row. And what does Scepter do to get that knockback? It walks up to you, uses the red ability, and that's it. It doesn't have to account for the combo, it doesn't have to react to getting the red, it doesn't have to aim precisely up to get it to even knock back in the right direction. How does cards compare to that? What was the point of all of these techs, of all of these combos, if all cards is a whole lot of wasted potential?